Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Wonderful afternoon to everybody. Team, you may start the event for today. Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Chandrasekaran.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Hina. How are
Your
you?
voice is a little less audible.
Little less audible. Mic is okay. And yeah, I'm a bit loud. I was talking a little low. Now it's okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Because I was
Yes, sir,
talking.
perfect.
Yes, team, you may start.
I request Rutuja ma'am to start.
Sure, ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So a warm welcome and good afternoon to one and all. I, Miss Rutuja Sutar, is delighted to welcome our guest of honor, Commander S. Chandrasekaran, retired Navy officer. Respected CMD, Mr. Bipin Pote, sir. Managing Trustee, Mrs. Meenal Pote, ma'am. Principal, Mrs. Hina Falke, ma'am. Pre-K Head, Sabita Rao, ma'am. Primary Head, Mrs. Krishnaveni, ma'am. Secondary Head Coordinator, Mrs. Suryalata Shetty, ma'am. Primary Coordinator, Mrs. Ratna Dubey, ma'am. Teachers and my lovely little learners. On this illuminating session to know the importance and functioning of Indian Navy. It is a pleasure to see you all here. Before we begin with today's session, let me put some light on the fact that Navy is one of the important parts of the defense for any country which have the coastal frontier. For the country like India, the Navy has played a vital role in protecting the coastal boundaries of India. Talking from the defense point of view, the government of India has given great emphasis for the Navy. India has been vulnerable to many external threats through coastal areas. The threats mainly consist of external attacks, infiltration, and smuggling. However, the Indian Navy has shown a great temperament in protecting the coastal areas. Indian Navy is the world's fifth largest navy with 55,000 men and women, including 5,000 naval aviation personnel and 2,000 sea commandos. The Indian Navy currently operates more than 155 ships, including aircraft carriers, INS Virat. India uses its navy to increase its international relations through joint exercises, port visits, and human missions, including disaster relief. And now, without any further ado, I would like to take this great honor to call upon our respected principal, Mrs. Hina Falke, ma'am. A leader is one who lights the path to the impossible and takes those who follow to great heights. It is an injustice to proceed to the event without calling upon our wings of light, our pillars of strength. She is the most serene and calm persona. She has 18 years of experience in education field, He is always a savior and our constant source of motivation. So here I invite Mrs. Hina Falke, ma'am, to enlighten us with her wise words. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Rutuja madam. First of all, a lovely afternoon once again to our guest, honorable guest today, Commander S. Chandrasekaran. I'm sure I have pronounced it correctly, sir. Your
Yeah, sure.
name. Thank you. I wholeheartedly welcome you on behalf of the Cambria International School. Usually at our school, we give children a lot of exposure about various aspects. Like other than education, also we want them to be updated about what's happening in and around, what is the current affairs, what is our defense system, and what is the importance of each and every defense category that is there in India and abroad. So with this aspect, we kind of invite renowned people like you to speak to our children so that in future, if any of our learner is interested and inclined to get into such kind of services, they should be motivated, they should be encouraged to get into these services because it is very, very important. And to my children, I would like to say that, my dear learners, we must protect our natural wealth and keep our trade routes open in order to progress, isn't it? This is the pure reason that it is imperative for any country to maintain a strong navy. And I must say that our Indian Navy is very competitive and strong enough. It is in a high state of preparedness always, and in the time of distress and natural disasters also, such as floods, droughts, cyclones, earthquakes, you will find Navy personnel taking the step ahead and helping out even civilians, other than protecting the water borders of our country. So aren't they very important? And should we not know about them? Yes, we should. That is the pure reason that we due respect, we have invited today's guest to speak to our little learners and let them understand the importance of Navy and defense by the very own words of Commander S. Chandrasekaran. So I would not talk much about anything today. Just over to you. Before we talk about Navy and its importance, I request the team member to introduce our guest of honor today so that children know they're listening to whom. All right. So I wish you all the best to all of you. Once again, I welcome you, Commander Chandrasekaran. I welcome you to our panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you so much, dear ma'am, for your motivational words. Now it's time to introduce our guest of honor, Commander S. Chandrasekaran, a retired Indian naval officer. He has served the Indian Navy for 22.5 years as a commissioned officer. On completion of post-graduation in physics from Indian Institute of Technology, that is IIT Madras, he decided to take up a career in the Indian Armed Forces. He joined the Indian Navy in July 8, 1983 as a commissioned officer in the rank of acting sub-lieutenant. After a tough initial training in the Naval Academy in Kochi and other premier training establishments across the Navy, he had a couple of postings in the technical training establishments, INS Valsura and INS Shivaji in Jamnagar and Lonavala, respectively, as a training officer. Thereafter, he did advanced meteorology course from India Meteorological Department, that is IMD Pune, and advanced oceanography course in IIT Delhi and National Institute of Oceanography NIO in Goa. As a meteorology and oceanography specialist, he has served in all the 4 commands of the Indian Navy, mostly in the role of weather and oceanographic forecasting for the naval operations, including aviation, surface warfare, and submarines. He took premature retirement from the Indian Navy in the rank of commander in 2005 and since then, he has been performing the role of senior operational marine weather forecaster in private firms in UAE, where he forecasts weather and oceanographic conditions for all the marine operations in the Gulf, Red Sea, Mediterranean Sea, Caspian Sea, Arabian Sea, and the Indian Ocean, mostly catering to the clients in the oil and gas sector. So without ado, let's welcome and hear from our inspiring guest of honor, Commander S. Chandrasekaran. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Mrs. Rituja, respected principal of Cambria International School, Mrs. Hina Falke, respected teachers, members of the staff and faculty of Cambria International School, and all the bright, I see not lots of brightness, smile in the face of every student here. Good, all the bright, brilliant, energetic students of boys and girls of Cambria International School. I think you are all in the school finals, or I see some young faces also here. Or are they in the school final 10th, 11th, 12th, or something like that? Or are they from lower classes? I don't know exactly.
5th to 12th.
From 5th to 12th, is a large range of people. I in fact prepared my talk thinking that they are in a higher class. It doesn't matter. I'll try to make it as simple as possible so that they understand a bit better. It's better to catch them very young. That's the policy. A very good afternoon to all of you. It is indeed a very great pleasure for me to be here with you all. And I should thank the principal, Mrs. Hina Falke, for that. I also should thank Mrs. Savita Prakash. In what capacity, I don't know. She was the one first to reach me and request me to do this kind of a webinar for the children of Cambria International School. I have gone through the website of Cambria International School. I'm quite impressed by the kind of devotion, by the kind of school staff you have. It's quite nice. I have not visited the school yet, but when I come next time to Bombay, I will definitely visit this. I believe that it is in Kalyan. So it is indeed a real pleasure and privilege for me to be here with all of you. So let's get back into the talk today. My talk will be mostly on the Navy only, the naval heritage, the importance of the Navy, the role of the Navy, the structure, the administration structure of the Navy, the operational structure of the Navy, and how do you people can get into the Navy, and what is it you have, what kind of life you are expected to have in the Navy. And that's my main idea, is to motivate. If some of you join the Navy after this lecture, I will be the happiest person together. So let me share my screen. It will be mostly a PowerPoint presentation. We'll have a couple of videos and things like that. So let me share my screen first. I will share the screen completely. If you have got any issues technically, please let me know. Please raise your hands so that it can be sorted out. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir, we can. Yes, sir, we
Okay.
can see your screen.
Okay. Let's straight away go to the okay. Welcome. I don't need an introduction actually here. My profile has already been told by Mrs. Rituja. So I am Commander Chandrasekaran. I joined the Navy in 1983 as a commissioned officer and retired in 2005 after about 22 years of glorious career in the Navy. It's very hard to hang the uniform once you wear the uniform, and it's quite hard to hang the uniform and get into your civilian life. So, but we have to, at some stage or other, we have to retire from the Navy. just in order to explore the other parts of the world. I left the Navy and came to the Middle East, came to Dubai, and have taken up some assignments here as a weather forecast. I am basically a specialist in meteorology and oceanography, and I do the same profession. Whatever Navy has taught me is helping me even today. That's the thing. Are you able to see my screen, the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, sir, we can see your screen.
Okay, let's go ahead. So before I get into the naval aspects, Indian Navy is combat ready, credible, and cohesive force. It's a great organization to join with. Before I start, let me show you a video. Let me skip the ads here. Are you listening to the sound here?
No, sir, sound is not coming. The sound is not audible.
Sound is not coming?
Sir, it is not audible.
Sound is not audible.
I will share the sound. Now the sound should be coming now. Right?
Yes, sir. So now it is coming.
To ride its waves and protect our waters, to prowl beneath its surface and seek the enemy, to take wing from the waters and attack from above. In return, the ocean gave me opportunities to discover capabilities I never knew I had, to inspire me for battle, to earn the respect of my country. The Navy gives you more.
On the turbulent waters of the ocean, I stand firm in my country's defense. In the ocean's deepest depths, I roam unfettered. And high above the oceans, I bring my enemy down. As limitless is the ocean, so are my opportunities to make a career out of a calling, to serve the nation with honor, to succeed in battle and in life. The Navy gives you more.
The Navy gives me responsibility.
The Navy gives me respect.
The Navy gives me recreation.
The Navy gives you more.
The Navy gives me purpose.
The Navy gives me pride.
The Navy gives me progress.
The Navy gives you more.
You think you've seen it all? Think again. Behind the silence of the deepest oceans lies the strength of a mighty force. A force deep in the dark and unknown, living with courage and integrity, silently at the helm of a mighty submarine. You think you've seen it all? Think again. Behind the silence of the deepest oceans lies the strength of a mighty force. A force whose bravest rise from the darkest depths where the world sleeps. Far away from city lights, proudly for the glory of white.
Behind the silence of the deepest oceans
lies the strength of a mighty force. A force whose bravest rise from the darkest depths when the world sleeps. Far away from the city lights, proudly for the glory of white.
So, nice. You have seen the video, right? You have seen what Navy is, right? Are you able to hear me? Well?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's good. That's good. So after seeing that particular video, you must have exactly understood what Navy is all about. Yeah. This is December 4th is generally observed as the Navy Day. This year also on December 4th, we always celebrate Navy Day. Why do we celebrate the Navy Day? Is because on this day only in the 1971 war, Indian Navy had a glorious chapter. It went and attacked the Karachi harbor. There are quite a few missile boats from Mumbai. They took off, went and positioned themselves off the Karachi harbor and bombarded the Karachi harbor and set it on fire, and then came back victoriously back to the Bombay harbor. So that was a very, very one of the most victorious day of Indian Navy, and which ultimately has helped us to win the 1971 war. So that's why this particular day, December 4th, is being observed as the Navy Day. But it's about, it was 1971, it is 2021, it is 50 years. This particular year, the Navy Day is very, very special. Very, very special in the sense that we have completed 50 years of our Navy. So there wouldn't have been a better time for me to talk to you about the Indian Navy than this time. So let's get into the aspects. I will cover my talk broadly into various aspects. We will talk about the maritime heritage, the role of the Navy, and what is the purpose of the Navy, what is the organizational structure of the Navy, and how you people can join the Navy, and what is the kind of life which you can expect in the Navy. So these are the things which I will broadly cover. So I will take this opportunity to say a few words about our country's maritime heritage. If you do not understand about India's maritime heritage, you will not understand what is the importance of the Navy at all. So it is important for all of us to realize that the maritime identity of our nation is integral to our national identity. With the sea on three sides of our country and huge mountains on the fourth side, it has been said that the country lies in the very lap of the Indian Ocean. In fact, if you see, the Indian Ocean is the only ocean where it is named after a particular country. Our history, our geography, our economy, our position, and interactions in a globalized world, our nation's development, our nation's security are all very much intimately and intricately connected to the maritime domain, which is essentially the Indian Ocean, which surrounds India from all the three sides. The Indian Ocean is also the only ocean in the world which is named after a country, the fact that signifies our intrinsic and inseparable association with the seas. So if you have a look at that, India is always believed in the seas being used towards building prosperity and friendship. For centuries, traders and seafarers from our coastal regions have interacted with other maritime communities of the Indian Ocean region. The ancient literature also points out to the fact that as far back as the era of Indus Valley civilization, there was considerable maritime interaction between India and Western Asia, Mediterranean region, and the Far East region. Far East means those Southeast Asian countries, which I'm talking about, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Myanmar and all these countries. So the prominent rulers of ancient India attached a very, very high value to the maritime affairs of our country. The war office of the Mauryan Emperor Chandragupta had as one of its 6 boards a Nav Parishad, or the Board of Admiralty, which controlled the national shipping, the trade and cultural initiatives of Indian kingdoms. The trade and cultural initiatives of the Indian kingdoms took them across the seas to far-flung areas such as Sumatra. Sumatra is one of the major islands of Indonesia, Burma, which is now called as Myanmar, and the Malayan Peninsula, which has got the Malaysia and Thailand there, and Java. Java is also another major island of Indonesia, and Thailand and other countries in the Southeast Asia. The effects of this historical and cultural relation, which are quite evident, which can be seen even today, and provide us with a sound basis for building our trade and friendship in these regions today, strengthening our maritime links. But if you take the medieval period, we had such a beautiful thing. But if you take the medieval period of say 1200 AD to 1900 AD, however, an age of sea blindness, we can call it. We had such a rich maritime heritage in the older kingdoms, but from 1200 to 1900 AD, somehow we were not quite good. We were not quite powerful as far as our maritime heritage or maritime power is concerned. If you have a look at this history, it clearly shows that when India lost focus completely towards the seas, India lost its independence. That's how the Western colonies have started coming in. With the arrival of, if you have a look at this thing, you will find the Vasco da Gama came to India in 1498, Portuguese came in 1505, the Dutch came in 1605, the British came in 1612, and the French came at 1769. So when you are not powerful in the seas, when you do not have a sea power, what will happen is the other people will automatically start coming in. So however, from the early that's how you will find the European sea powers started coming into India through the sea routes. So India lost supremacy over the seas around it. However, from the early 20th century, from 1900 or so, there has been a revival of maritime India, notwithstanding India's age of sea blindness before that. India's shipbuilding has been a glorious chapter, even during the colonial rule. Even during the colonial rule, you must have heard that the skills of Wadia builders, they used the Malabar teak wood for ship construction, and they were very famous along India's west coast. HMS Trinkumali was constructed in 1817 at Bombay Naval Dockyard by the Wadias at a cost of 23,000 pounds, and they displaced about 1,065 tons. Displacement is actually how heavy the particular ship is actually. And it had 46 guns. It's one of the oldest floating warships. It is presently docked at Hartlepool in UK. So, and then you have the USS Minden on board, which you had the Star Spangled Banner, the anthem of US anthem was also built by India. The USS Cornwallis, on which the Treaty of Nanking was signed, was also an Indian built one. So these are the shipbuilding capabilities of India from early 1900 onwards. And that's how India's maritime attributes are very, very important. It is of great significance for you to understand that India has got a very, very long coastline extending from Kutch to Bangladesh, about 7,500 kilometer long coastline and nearly 1,200 islands. How many islands? You must have heard about the Andaman Nicobar Islands and the Lakshadweep Islands, or some of you might have visited. The Andaman Nicobar Islands, group of islands itself has got a group of about 600 islands are there. And then the Lakshadweep Islands have got plenty of islands there. So we have all these islands surrounding us. They are part of India. Our exclusive economic zone, we call it, about 200 miles from the coast, we generally define as the exclusive economic zone. That exclusively belongs to India to exploit it economically. The resources of available in this particular exclusive economic zone is entirely India. We can tap them to our potential. So we have a very, very long, our exclusive economic zone, which measures nearly 2 million square kilometers actually. That is at 200 nautical miles. We normally may have the measure of nautical miles. It's almost half of how many kilometers? 200 nautical miles, almost about 350 to 400 kilometers. Actually, if you talk in terms of kilometers. So that's the distance of the zone or the boundary of the exclusive economic zone from the coastline. So that belongs to us. Our international trade, if you have a look at it, our international trade is largely dependent on the medium of the seas. Over 70% by value and 90% by volume of our foreign trade is seaborne, is happening through the seas. Over 78% of our oil needs are also being imported from across the seas. And only 11% of it is met from, we have our own offshore oil drilling platforms are there. We have oil offshore. You must have heard about the Mumbai High. The Mumbai High oil field is one of the important oil field where oil is extracted. That's offshore Mumbai. We call it as a Mumbai High. We also have got lots of oil resources found in the Krishna Godavari basin, that is opposite to in the east coast of India, offshore the east coast of India. So we have about 11% of the oil and energy needs are met from this particular offshore assets that we have. So this is very important to us. This is what it gives you about the Mumbai High region and the Krishna Godavari basin here. And then our fishing communities, which stretch all along the coast from Kutch to Bay of Bengal, to the West Bengal, and from Lakshadweep to Andaman Nicobar Islands, they all sustain themselves on the seas. The seas around us and the oceans touching them are therefore of very, very great importance to our country. So this is a very, very important aspect. Lots of fishermen. The fisheries sector is a very good. It has been a livelihood of about 14.5 million Indians. Seafood exports amount to about 6 billion, 5,960 million, you can call it to be precise, to the foreign exchange earnings in 2021, which is about 10% less than the previous year. But there is a lot of potential for the export of seafood to increase in the next few years or so. It may even double in the next few years. So that's very important. That's the rich maritime heritage of India. You have to understand the importance of Navy. That's why you need to understand the maritime heritage of this country before that. So lots of skill development. Another important aspect of it is skill development, port development. Let me share some on the aspect of skill development and its relevance to the maritime sector. As we are marching ahead on the path of economic resurgence, the country's ability to fulfill the demand for skilled human resource will be a very critical factor in sustaining economic growth rate and social progress. The demographic dividend that our country will experience would be an advantage only if we are successful in suitable job creation. If you study, you need to get jobs. You need to have that. To that end, the maritime sector offers very interesting possibilities for growth in aspects such as port sector development, shipbuilding, merchant shipping, fisheries, cruise tourism, offshore energy, offshore wind farms, and many more. So the maritime sector is slated for growth and would be an interesting area to explore for young boys and girls like you who are looking at promising careers in various fields. So the importance of the Navy cannot be overemphasized. More than this, we have a very, very large Navy. We are the fourth or the fifth largest Navy in the world. India, for a maritime nation like India, having a very strong and modern Navy is of very, very high importance. A strong and versatile Navy not only deters the adversaries, not only we have about 140 ships and submarines, over 235 aircraft, we have multi-dimensional capabilities, we have networked fleets available. We are the fourth largest Navy in the world. You all must be knowing that Indian Army is the third largest army in the world, and the Indian Air Force is the fourth largest Air Force in the world. Likewise, Indian Navy is the fourth largest Navy in the world in terms of manpower and number of ships, number of submarines and things like that. So that's why a strong and versatile Navy is very much important to deter our adversaries and safeguard our territory, but it also enables creation of a peaceful periphery to facilitate socio-economic growth. As we make more use of the seas, our need for security will also increase. Only a strong and modern Navy can give us the security that we require to make optimum use of our seas. So, join the Indian Navy as Indian nationals. We can join the Indian Navy as officers. We also can join the Indian Navy as sailors. Sailors means what? Sailors are just like in the army, you call soldiers, those who are in the below rank, those who are not in the officers rank, we call them Jawans in Hindi, we call them soldiers in English. So just like soldiers, Navy also has got men who practically do the job on the ground. They are called soldiers. They are called sailors. Just you call them soldiers in the army. So I will, my talk today the emphasis will be more on officers. So I would like all of you to join the Navy as officers. That's what will be my aim would be. So my presentation will basically focus on officers. You would be aware that an officer of the armed forces, that is, you must have heard the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. You joined as a commissioned officer. You must have heard this term, commissioned officer. What does it mean actually? This is because he or she is, it basically means that he or she is appointed or commissioned personally by the President of India. You will find who basically on taking a commissioned rank in the Navy as an officer, you get a kind of a certificate which is personally signed by the President of India. You do not have this kind of a privilege in any service. You join as an IAS officer, you join any government service, you join any public sector like banks or any other public sector undertaking, or directly into any kind of a government undertaking as an officer or any kind of in any role, you do not get this privilege. Only the defense officers who are commissioned in the Navy, the moment they join, they get a certificate of commissioning certificate. I too got in 1983 when I joined the Navy, I got this kind of a commissioning certificate, which was signed in the green ink by President Gyani Zail Singh. In 1983, President Gyani Zail Singh was the President of India. I still cherish and this treasure, I keep it safely in my cupboard along with my other degree certificates or even a birth certificate or whatever certificates of qualifications which I have. Along with that, I have this commissioning certificate. Only the defense commissioned officers get this kind of a privilege. You can imagine the kind of importance the President of India gives, who is actually the supreme commander of all the three armed forces actually. The officers are the backbone of the service and its organizations, and only the very best in the country can become defense officers. And you also can become one of the defense officers, whether you are a boy, whether you are a girl. So I will come to those aspects a bit later. So where does the Indian Navy work from? Let us see some organizational structure of the Indian Navy. So before we get into how you can join and things like that, let us have a look at the organizational structure of Indian Navy. We have the Chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral, who is there in New Delhi. So normally Navy is related to the seas. It's near the coast only. But the headquarters of the Navy, the naval headquarters we call it, it is situated in Delhi because our Prime Minister, our President of India, our governing is done from the Delhi. Delhi is the capital. So we need to have our naval headquarters at Delhi. We have the Chief of Naval Staff. It is indicated by 4 stars there. What do you learn by the 4 stars? We call it a 4-star admiral. Basically, he is the rank of an admiral. An admiral always puts 4 stars on his stripes. He 4 stars in his car. He displays there are 4 stars will be there in the front of his car near the number plate. So we call him a 4-star admiral. He is actually a full admiral rank. So he is the Chief of the Naval Staff. Under him, we have got 3 commands. CNC West written there. What does CNC stand for? CNC stands for Commander-in-Chief, Western Naval Command. The headquarters of the Western Naval Command is in Mumbai. You have probably gone to the Colaba area, somewhere near the Line Gate area. You must have seen the office of the headquarters of the Western Naval Command. We have what is known as the Flag Officer, Commanding-in-Chief of the Western Naval Command. He is of the rank of the Vice Admiral. We call him as a 3-star admiral. So 3-star admiral means he is basically a vice admiral. So the Commander-in-Chief of the Western Naval Command is there in the headquarters of the Western Naval Command at Mumbai. And then we have the Commander-in-Chief of the Eastern Naval Command, CNC East, we call him in a short form. He is also the rank of a Vice Admiral, a 3-star Admiral. The headquarters of that is in Visakhapatnam. And then we have another command known as the Commander-in-Chief, known as the Southern Naval Command. And we have a Commander-in-Chief who is a Vice Admiral, who is there in the Southern Naval Command at Kochi. The headquarters is at Kochi there. Again, headed by a Vice Admiral there. So that's how we have got the Navy divided into 3 commands, important commands. But the 2 commands in the West, we got seas in the West, we got sea in the East. Even the Indian Ocean to the south of India is also the part of it becomes the domain of these 2 operational commands. Only the Western Naval Command and the Eastern Naval Command are basically the operational commands. They do all the operations. They fight the war. They carry out the Indian naval operations at sea, defending the coastline, all from any kind of adversaries. Everything is the responsibility of the Western Naval Command and the Eastern Naval Command. If the Western Naval Command and Eastern Naval Command together are taking out the entire operations of all the seas surrounding the seas, then what will be the role of the Southern Naval Command, you may be asking. But the Southern Naval Command, without having good training, so most importantly, to have absolute efficiency in operations, you need to have very, very highly trained manpower. If you do not have a very trained manpower, you will not be having an efficient Navy. So the training is very, very important. So the Southern Naval Command is given the responsibility of training of the personnel of the entire Indian Navy. So in Kochi, we have the headquarters of the Southern Naval Command headed by a Vice Admiral, and he has all the training establishments all over the Navy under him. Even though it may not be situated in the south, it may be situated. For example, we have an electrical training establishment known as Jamnagar, where even I have served for about 1 to 1.5 years in my initial stages of my career as a trainee there, as a person who, as an instructor there. In the electrical engineering is being taught there in Jamnagar there. Then we have another training establishment for the logistics people, and we have those training establishments at INS Hamla. I don't know how many of you would have heard of INS Hamla. There is an INS Hamla in Mumbai. That's a logistics training establishment in Mumbai. Then we have the mechanical engineering establishment. There is a Naval College of Engineering in Lonavala. I don't know how many of you again would have visited Lonavala. And if you have somebody known in the defense services, only you will be able to visit these defense training establishments. Because you will not be, as a civilian, you will not be allowed inside these establishments, even if you have it, this thing. So you have the mechanical engineering people are trained in that Naval College of Engineering there in Lonavala. Then we have the Naval War College in Goa. Their war strategies, war tactics is being taught in this Naval War College. Very senior naval officers are trained in that Naval War College there. And we have the Naval Academy. They're very, very important. Anybody who enters the Navy in his initial training goes through this Naval Academy, which is there at a place known as Erimala. It's called Erimala. That's how you pronounce it. It's in the Kannur district in Kerala. So that Naval Academy is one of the most prestigious and state-of-the-art training establishment established quite recently, but it's a very, very important one. Everybody who is joining the Navy goes through this particular academy known as the Naval Academy. He goes through training there, and that's a very important one. Even I went through the Naval Academy in my initial stage, but that time the new Naval Academy was not there. We had the Naval Academy at Kochi there. Then we have some executive training establishments, a number of training establishments for various specializations of the executive branch of the Navy is taught at Kochi there. And then on the eastern side, in the east coast of India at Visakhapatnam, we have a submarine training establishment there. All the submariners are trained in submarine training establishments there. And then all the sailors, that's what sailors means, as to call soldiers in the army, airmen in the Air Force, we call them sailors. The sailors are trained in a place known as INS Chilka, the place near a Chilka Lake in Orissa, in the east coast there. So these are all the training establishments which are there. And also we have what is known as a Tri-Services Command. If I don't tell that, then a tri-services command at Port Blair. We previously had a Far Eastern Naval Command, but all the three services like Army, Navy, Air Force, all have been combined together to form an integrated command, integrated tri-services command headed by either a Major General of the Army or Air Vice Marshal of the Air Force or Vice Admiral of the Navy in turns. This tri-services command, because all the three services are present in that particular region of Andaman Nicobar region, because we need to protect those islands also from adversaries from the east. We know in 1940s and all, the Japanese and all had invaded and they had occupied the Andaman Nicobar Islands. But luckily before in 1945 or so, they left. If you had visited Andaman Nicobar Islands, you will learn about the history of that later. So let me not go much into the detail of this thing. The role of the Navy is very, very important. The main fighting elements of the Navy are divided between the commands. Okay, as I have told you before, the main role is that military. It is supposed to fight war against the adversaries. In times of war, you have to defend your coastline. You have to fight against the adversaries. That is the main important role of the military. That's the military role, I can call it. Then we do have what is known as a diplomatic role. We do visit diplomatic visits to various foreign countries, various foreign ports on goodwill visits. So our ships and submarines do visit the foreign ports in a diplomatic role. So that's another one of the important one. Then we have a constabulary role. We have to help the government in law and order in case of some riots, some kind of terrorists, some kind of an unrest happening in any part of the country. Wherever it happens, wherever you have a nearest defense establishment, be it Navy or an Air Force or the Army, they are being deployed. If the civil force, like the police force, is not able to control the riots or things like that. So we have to give a helping hand. So this is a very important role, a constabulary role we can call it. We have to help the government in maintaining law and order within the country itself. Even though that's not the primary role, the primary role of controlling the law and order within the country belongs to the police force. But sometimes the police force is not adequate enough to control this. So in that case, that can be some kind of a communal flare coming up somewhere. Some kind of riots can happen anywhere, which can go out of control for the police forces. So in such a case, they seek the help of the defense services. So then we have what is known as a benign, providing a helping hand in terms of any natural calamities. There can be an earthquake, there can be a tsunami, there can be very, very heavy rains anywhere. You must have seen lots of heavy rains and lots of flooding in Mumbai. Lots of flooding happened in Kerala some time back. It happened in Chennai once. There immediately for tsunami. You must have heard about the tsunami which happened in 2005. The Indian Navy gave a very, very large helping role in that. So because Indian Navy has got divers, Indian Navy has got commandos, Indian Navy has got helicopters for the purpose of search and rescue. Maybe there can be an air crash in the sea. A Boeing aircraft may crash into the sea. You will find the personnel have to be rescued, evacuated, all kinds of things only Navy can provide. So these kind of benign roles are also there for the Navy. Very, very important. Without these things, it's very difficult. So in order to perform these tasks, we have what is known as it's a multi-dimensional force. We have a very, very large multi-dimensional force. We have the surface Navy. We have warships operating at the surface of the sea. You have seen that. Then we have got the submarines which are operating underwater, and we have got the aircraft. These aircraft are not Air Force aircraft. They are independently. They entirely belong to the Indian Navy. Indian Navy has got a fleet of aircraft, from maritime reconnaissance to helicopters to fighter aircrafts are there. They exclusively belong to the Indian Navy. They are not part of the Air Force. Air Force has got its different fleet of aircraft, and these are basically for the Navy. So Navy also has got an aviation arm. So Indian Navy operates on the surface of the water, underwater, and above the water. And Indian Navy also uses the satellites for communication. Satellites are very, very important. They do the remote sensing. They give you the intelligence. You are able to communicate between ships, from ships to submarines, ships to aircraft, you are able to do remote sensing of the oceans. The remote sensing of the oceans are very important for the purpose of understanding the ocean conditions, and they have to be exploited for the purpose of winning a war against our adversaries. So the satellite or the space technology is also used. So you should have people in the Navy also specialized in satellite communications and various other aspects. And then you have the cyber warfare using internet and computers and other things for the purpose of winning a war. So it's a multi-dimensional force. Indian Navy is a multi-dimensional force, and you have all this in this picture will give you a multi-dimensional and networked force of the Navy. Okay, to help Navy to play all these roles to perfection, we have different branch structures. There are different branches in the Navy. There is a different fields of specialization. Everyone cannot be an expert in every field. So you have different fields and different branches. So that's how you have different. This is the Navy. This is the logo of the Navy. You see the Indian Navy logo. Sham no Varunaha is something written there, and Satyamev Jayate is written there, along with the national emblem there. So this is the Navy's logo actually, which has got an anchor. Sham no Varuna. You know, the Lord Varuna is the Lord of the seas. He who rules the seas rules the world. That's what is the saying. So ruling the seas is very important. That's how British had a beautiful and very powerful Navy, and they could rule the world for some time in the past. So Navy is important. So we have what is known as an executive branch. They are the fighting branch. They are the commanding branch, you can call it. The main branch who basically fights the war against the adversaries, the executive branch. So this executive branches, people are trained in various other subfields also, and that is one of the most important branches. Only an officer of the executive branch becomes the chief of the naval staff. He ultimately rises up to the top post of the chief of the naval staff. He has to belong to the executive branch. So that's an executive branch. Then we have what is known as the marine engineering branch. Engineering branch, missionaries. The technical branch, we have got two technical branches. Out of the two sub branches, we have got the marine engineering branch, and we also have the electrical branch. Why electrical is delinked from engineering is marine engineering deals with only the engineering. Engineering means the engine part of the ship, the engine part of the aircraft, how an engine can propel a ship or a submarine or an aircraft or whatever it is. So they look after the machineries part of it, whereas the electrical engineering looks at the electrical and electronics part of it. Lots of weapon systems are there. The electrical distribution power is generated within a ship and a submarine. It has got, a submarine has got batteries. A submarine has got diesel generators when it comes to the surfaces, and a power supply is being given to the entire ship. Just like for a city, you need to have a power generation, and a power has to be distributed amongst the towns. So a power has to be distributed, this thing. And then we have got a number of electronic equipments which are related to the weapons, radars, sonars, and so many other weaponry equipments are there, all electronic basically. So all the electronics is given to the electrical. They are basically electrical engineering. So electrical engineers basically look after that aspect of it. And then we have the education. As I told you, no force can be efficient without proper training. So the education branch is responsible for imparting education and training to the personnel of the Indian Navy. They also should have a good knowledge about all the subjects and all the fields in order to inculcate education and training into the naval personnel. So the education branch is one of the important branches. And we have the medical branch. You have to be fighting fit. You have to be medically fit. Any military personnel has to be absolutely fit. So we have a medical branch. We have large number of hospitals and which take care of the medical needs of the, not only the naval personnel and their families also. Their families also to be fit and healthy. So only officers of the executive branch, as I told you, can become captains of warships. They can become submariners, the captains of submarines and captains of the aircraft. And executive branch officers in their early days can specialize in one of the many professional fields are there. If I come back, what are the executive branch people? The executive branch people specialize in gunnery, missile warfare, navigation. Navigation is you have to take the ship from one place to the other place. You have to navigate. So you should know the finer aspects of navigation, aircraft detection. All these things are one of the important things. Then the anti-submarine warfare. Anti-submarine warfare is fought under the sea. You have to detect a submarine, launch a torpedo, detect torpedoes which are there. All these things are there. It's a separate specialization on its own. So the anti-submarine warfare is a separate different field. And then you got the communication and electronic warfare is there. So, you know, all this, the modern day warfare is completely an electronic and digital warfare. Gone are those days when you could just take a gun and keep fighting. It's a very high-tech war these days. So the communication is very important. Electronic warfare is very important. So the executive branch specializes in this. There are different officers specializing in these different fields. Also, we have aviation as one of the branches. Aviation as one of the branches. So some of the executive officers can become pilots. Executive officers can become pilots and observers in the aviation field. And the fighter aircraft as well as transport aircrafts also. And all the personnel can specialize in submarines also. And then we have another branch, another marine commandos. Just like you have got commandos in the army, commandos in the air force, we have the commandos in the navy, and they are basically called as marine commandos. Then we have the hydrography branch. Hydrography deals with hydrographic survey, the depth of the bottom, the nature of the bottom, the seas, the surface, all these things they study, they chart, they produce charts. So a mariner knows which place, what is the depth, what kind of surface, what kind of bottom is there. So all these things are being understood. Everything is being charted. Without charts, one cannot navigate from one place to the other place. So all the mariners do have charts, and these charts are basically produced by the hydrography specialists there in the Navy. And then we have the law branches. Without law, how can you enforce discipline in a service? Especially defense services are very highly disciplined services. You need to have law, you need to have rules, you need to this thing. If anybody has violated the law, he has to be punished. So there should be a court for punishing it. So in the Navy, we have courts, we have got a court martial. Separate courts are there. We do not go to the civil courts for any kind of a fighting. Most of the things are settled in the by means of court martials there. There are internal inquiries, board of inquiries, and these board of inquiries people are court-martialed and then punished. So this is a law branches there. It has got, they are versatile about the Navy, maritime laws and things like that. Then the logistics. Logistics is the one which is basically the supply, all the material, men, material, equipment, everything they provide. So a logistics branch is there. And we have an air traffic control. This is also part of the executive branch. There are sub-branches. This law, logistics, air traffic control, Naval Armament Inspectorate, information technology, all of them come under the executive branch of the Navy. So air traffic control is, they sit in the, you must have seen an ATC tower in an airport. So they sit in the airport, in the air traffic control, they control the traffic of the aircraft and allow them to land and things like that. So a variety of aircraft, even sometimes civil aircraft also lands in the military airfields. So it's a common airfield there. I remember in Mumbai sometime back, we never had a separate civil airport and a military. In Kochi, we never had a separate civil airport and a military or Navy airport. They were same. So the air traffic controller used to control the civil Boeing aircrafts also which are landing, and also the Navy aircraft and the Air Force aircraft which are landing and taking off from the airports. So you have the air traffic control branch there. And then Naval Armament Inspectorate, which is basically anything? I listen to some noise. Okay. So Naval Armament Inspectorate, basically they inspect all the arms and ammunitions which are basically coming into the Navy. Their worth, their life, they have got a life cycle, their worth, they inspect, they should be war worthy, they maintain it, and they ultimately get supplied to the Navy. We got a tremendous amount of missiles and guns and ammunitions and arms, and a lot of them are there. So we have a Naval Armament Inspectorate is there. Then information technology, I don't have to elaborate the importance of IT. IT is a very, very important branch of the Navy. That also comes under the executive branch. The importance of IT cannot be is never required to be emphasized here. You all know it very well, the importance of IT in every organization. Understood? Okay. Then comes the technical branch. I talked about the executive branch. The technical branch consists of 4 sub-branches. I said electrical branch and engineering branch. That's how we have bifurcated the technical branch into 2 major branches. Electrical branches looks after the electrical part of it, electronics and the electronics part of it, weapon systems and equipment, electronic equipment, radars, sonars, and so many other things. Whereas the engineering branch deals about the engines, basically. The aircraft has got engine, a ship has got an engine, a submarine has got an engine. If the engine is not functioning properly, you cannot operate the ship or an aircraft or anything. Then in this engineering and electrical branches, they also can specialize in the aeronautical. If they are interested in the aeronautical engineering, aeronautical electrical. So there are 2, when you join Navy, you may become an engineering officer, but at some time you may find I would like to specialize more in the aeronautical engineering, aircraft engines. You can take up that and specialize yourself into an aeronautical engineer. So you will be there, you will be maintaining the aeronautical engines. There are various fighter aircraft is there. Even Air Force has got aeronautical engineers. So aeronautical branch is one thing. And then another important branch is another naval architecture. The naval architecture, basically, they build the ships, they design ships. In the design and building of ships, they are basically placed in or put in naval dockyards and design establishment, ship design establishment. They design ships and submarines. Okay, and they take care of that. So that's how you have different branches in the Navy. So Navy basically is for professional excellence, and for professional excellence, you need to do lots of training. You need to have a lot of internal courses conducted. That's how you have the various training establishments which are there in the Navy. But the training establishments can give you some limited thing. But your horizon has to be widened. That can be widened only when you go to some premier training establishments in the country. We have IITs. We have got the National Institute of Technologies. We have got the Indian Institute of Science. We have got lots of other establishments like that. We have lots of other institutions like abroad as well. So lots of technical officers, education officers, education branch officers are sent for courses to postgraduate courses in Indian Institutes of Technology in India, situated all over the country. And lots of the people are sent, almost everyone gets a kind of a specialization to National Institute of Technologies. If you take me, for example, I joined Navy as an education officer after doing my post-graduation in physics. Physics was my most interesting subject. I liked it. I liked it very well. I wanted to be a scientist. So I opted to do a specialization in meteorology and oceanography. So I was sent for training to India Meteorological Department. India Meteorological Department is a pioneer. They are the experts in weather forecasting. They train the people of their own organization in the forecasting of weather. So I wanted to forecast weather for the naval operations, submarine operations. So I was sent on a weather forecasting course. It's a very, very recognized course. It's all over the world. It is recognized. It is recognized by the World Meteorological Organization. So I did a 1 to 1.5 years course in the India Meteorological Department. It is called a senior weather forecasters course, an advanced weather forecasters course. So I was sent by the Navy entirely at Navy's expenses to all these courses. MTechs, you do not pay any course fee. You do not pay anything. You do not pay a single rupee for your training. You are getting a salary. You are already a lieutenant. You are already a commissioned officer. You are drawing a salary. You are having all kinds of perquisites. But you go there to IIT Delhi. You go there to IIT Mumbai and do an MTech course along with other people who are doing MTech courses. They will envy you. They said on the first of the month, you are getting salary in your bank account. You are getting free food. You are getting all kinds of privileges. And when you are doing an MTech course, just imagine. And that's how when we joined this thing, that's how I have done a course for about 1 year duration in IIT Delhi. I stayed in the IIT hostel. My mess bills are being paid by the Navy. I've been given the free ration there. I was given all the canteen, medical, every facility in Delhi. I'm getting it. On the first of the month, I'm getting my salary in my bank account. And I am doing a course in IIT Delhi. and along with the other students there. Just imagine other students will envy you when you do course like that. It's a privilege there. So you do such specializations when you join the Navy. Almost every one of you will be doing some specialization or other at some time in their career, and you will be deputed to these premier institutions in the country and abroad. So that's a very, very important thing. And we have education branch that takes care of the entire training, education of naval personnel. So for the education officers to carry out these kind of training purposes, the education officers are also, the Naval Education Branch people are also trained in these fields like navigation and direction, anti-submarine warfare. They get specialization in gunnery. They get specialization in communication. Not everyone is specialized in every field. Different education officers are chosen for different fields and they are sent for courses there. Hydrography, the oceanography, this is where I got specialized in. I am an advanced oceanographer. So oceanography and meteorology is also another sub branch of the naval education. This is where I opted for that, being my love for the science basically. So I got specialized in oceanography and meteorology. I was sent to the courses to India Meteorological Department and IIT Delhi to do the same. So this thing also, the education, the Naval Education Branch officers are sent to MTechs and Indian Institutes of Technologies. Okay. So let's have a look at our warships and submarines. I'm making my presentation a bit longer. Probably I just would like to motivate all of you, would like to have a good understanding of what's exactly happening in the Navy. That's very, very important. So the Navy is ever evolving, as you know. One second. Constantly adding to its powerful punch by acquiring important platforms. Platforms, we call it the various ships, the aircraft carrier. We have the Navy is an ever-evolving organization. We have INS Vikramaditya. How many of you have heard of INS Vikramaditya?
Sir, I don't know.
You don't know? It's a very huge aircraft carrier which Indian Navy has acquired from Russia. The negotiations went on when I was there in the Navy before 2005. From that time itself, the name of the vessel which USSR was having was Admiral Goroshko. That is the name of the vessel. And that ship was bought by Indian Navy after lots of negotiations. We got a lot of bargaining, negotiations, bureaucratic procedures. It takes 5 years, 10 years, and then budgetary allocation for that. So it doesn't come. It costs a hell of a lot of money to buy an aircraft carrier like that. And then that has to be maintained and fit. It has to be given in a very, very fit and fighting condition for us. So that also takes a hell of a lot of time. So ultimately, we got this particular ship, INS Vikramaditya. This very premier. It has got a 67,000 tonnage. Can you imagine? The aircraft carrier INS Vikramaditya is a 67,000 ton. It's a floating airfield. It can carry 40 aircraft. Can you believe? Have you visited? I will advise you to visit this ship. It's docked. It's there in the naval dockyard in Mumbai. Navy Day is a beautiful occasion where the naval dockyard is thrown open for all the visitors. It's not required that you have to know somebody in the Navy to enter. Yeah, if you know somebody in the Navy, yes, you can get a pass and you can go and visit these ships and submarines which are there in Mumbai or Visakhapatnam. But if you do not know anybody in the Navy, nobody is taking you as a guest. I have taken my mother, I have taken my mother-in-law, I have taken my children, my wife, children have all sailed in aircraft carriers. But that's a privilege of me being in the Navy. But everyone may not have that particular privilege. But the December 4th Navy Day or during the Navy Week celebrations, you will find that is why the naval dockyards and the naval establishments, ships, submarines, some of them, not all of them, some of them, they throw open to the visitors. If you cannot individually go, I will advise the principal or any other senior teacher can take initiative, can have some organized visits to certain ships and submarines or the naval dockyard to see what are the facilities which you have. It's a huge ship. It is like a township. It is like a city floating in the water. You find the fighter aircrafts taking off and landing on this particular ship. The aircraft carrier INS Vikramaditya is a 67,000 ton ship with 40 fighter aircrafts and helicopters taking off and landing. It can hold that. Then we have a range of destroyers. This is INS Virat. This is INS Virat. It is decommissioned now. It was there with the Navy until recently, but it has aged. Every ship has got a life. So it joined the Navy in the late 1980s. When I was there in the Navy, it joined. I had the privilege of sailing in this ship. That was the second aircraft carrier which we had. This was bought from USA. No, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. This was bought from United Kingdom. It was belonging to the Royal Navy. The UK's Navy is called the Royal Navy. HMS Hermes, it was called. HMS stands for Her Majesty's Ship. HMS Hermes. Like we call INS for all the ships. Indian Naval Ship. INS stands for Indian Naval Ship. We call it INS Virat, INS Vikramaditya, like that. They used to call it HMS Hermes. That took part in the 1982 Falklands War, where even Prince Charles is a naval officer. They consider serving in the defense forces is one of the royal traditions. You will find the Prince Charles was a naval officer. He's an admiral now. So he sailed in this particular ship. He was a part of this particular ship, Virat. So such a beautiful ship, and I have sailed on board this vessel quite a few times. I have visited a lot of people in this particular vessel. Then we had what is known as INS Vikrant, India's first aircraft carrier. It was acquired by the Indian Navy in 1960s from UK. That was also known as HMS Hercules. But ever since it was built, it was straight away sold to India. This is, and it was named as INS Vikrant. This INS Vikrant, I served for 3 long years on board this ship. It is close to my heart. Unfortunately, this also has lived its life. It has got decommissioned. It has been made a scrap. A lot of people wanted to make this as a museum because it had such rich traditions. A lot of VVIPs, right from Jawaharlal Nehru to Indira Gandhi to children, or every prime minister has visited this ship, Every defense minister, everyone, you name anybody, a high profile person of India has visited this ship. It has taken part in the 1971 war. It played a very, very important role in the 1971 war. In fact, when I was studying in my 5th grade or 6th grade, like you, when I was a kid, that is the time 1971 war was there. When I was reading very curiously in the newspapers about 1971 war, I read about INS Vikrant taking part in the naval operations in the 1971 war. I was so motivated that as a young boy, I thought, oh, how nice it would be if I serve on board a ship like this. I thought, I never knew after about 20 years, or after about 15 years or 20 years or so, I would be part of this particular ship. And it was one of the most beautiful experiences. I just cannot explain to you. When I first entered this particular ship, I served for 3 long years. I had a cabin in the ship, which is marked for me. I wanted to visit that particular cabin before it was decommissioned and sent for a scrap. Now it is sent for a scrap there. But now, doesn't matter. INS Vikrant, old is gone. Now we have got a new INS Vikrant. This is an entirely indigenous ship. It is not built by any other country. It is entirely made in India. This is known as INS, the new INS Vikrant, which is being built by the Cochin shipyard at Kochi. The Cochin shipyard at Kochi is building this vessel. You must have recently, if you have a habit of reading newspapers, you young boys should read lots of newspapers every day. And if you have a habit of reading newspaper, you must have heard that recently this particular ship, INS Vikrant, the new INS Vikrant, went for sea trials. They are carrying out sea trials. Seaworthiness of the ship which is being built is being done. And later on, a lot of arms, ammunitions, equipment, a lot of other things have to be installed before it becomes part of the Navy. It will take some time before it becomes the part of the fighting force. So if it joins the fleet of the Indian Navy, so then we will have 2 aircraft carriers with us now. One is INS Vikramaditya, the other one is INS Vikrant. But this INS Vikrant, you should not confuse with the INS Vikrant, which was there earlier with us, which is for the 1971 war. Like You may be knowing that Indian Navy has got a tradition of naming. In many families, you'll find your grandfather is there. After he dies, you'll find the children are named after the grandfather. The grandfather's name is given to the grandchildren. Same traditions are there in the Indian Navy as well. That's how the new aircraft carrier is also named as INS Vikrant, which is decommissioned. Okay, that's the thing. And then we have got lots of destroyer ships. INS Mysore, they're all indigenously built ships actually. The INS Mysore, INS Godavari, this INS Delhi, this class of ships, destroyers are there, and frigates are there. And then we have lots of frigates in the Indian Navy, and we have got a lot of patrol ships, corvettes, we can call them offshore patrol ships. And then the Naval Aviation, if you have a look at it, we have the fighters. We have the MiG-29K, the state-of-the-art fighter aircraft, which can operate on board INS Vikramaditya. All our aircraft are procured with the idea of that it should be capable of being operated from our floating airfield, that is INS Vikramaditya, right? So this is Sea Harrier. I am not sure. I also have left Navy in 2005. I have not kept a track. How many of the Sea Harriers are being left out? These Sea Harriers are vertical takeoff and landing. This fighter aircraft can vertically take off and land on an aircraft carrier. So this is this we procured from UK. So we had a fleet of, we had a squadron which had about 12, 16, 18 aircrafts were bought from UK. How many of them are remaining? Slowly they are being phased out because we started buying MiG-29K. The old aircraft will be phased out slowly. So how many of these Sea Harriers are remaining with the Navy? I'm not very sure, which you can refer to certain journals and find out. Okay, then we have got the Maritime Reconnaissance and Patrol aircraft, P-8I. Boeing P-8A long-range maritime reconnaissance patrol aircraft, we call it. They are basically, they have got long durations of 15, 16, 18 hours. They can fly non-stop. So when they take off, they go and scan the entire waters because they have got a very long range. That is why it's called long range. They can sustain for a long time in the sea without, they can fill up the full fuel and then fly for about 16, 18 hours. They can do the reconnaissance. It's very important. You have to do a lot of maritime reconnaissance. You got to search and rescue. You have to search and hunt for submarines, ships, warships, adversaries who are there, and come back and give the exact location where you spotted an enemy submarine or an enemy aircraft or an enemy ship somewhere, and then come back, and that will be a valuable input for other fighter aircraft or other ships to go and fight them. So we have this aircraft. This is the one. So in all these aircraft, it is written Navy. They are exclusively, they belong to the Indian Navy. That's what it means. Then we have got lots of helicopters. The helicopters have got anti-submarine roles. They can drop missiles, they can drop torpedoes, they can detect submarines. This is Seeking is one of the helicopter, Como is one of the helicopter. We have a lot of helicopters like that. And then we have a number of submarines. Bombay, there are a number of submarines in Visakhapatnam. So INS Chakra, we have got the first nuclear powered submarine which we had was INS Chakra. We got it on lease from Russia. So we got it on lease from Russia. We learned how to operate a nuclear submarine because operating a nuclear submarine is very, very difficult. It needs a lot of technology. The nuclear fuel has to be used for generation of for the energy, and nuclear safety standards have to be observed, and then nuclear waste disposal have to be done. It's a lot of it's a know-how which India should have if it has to operate nuclear submarines. So it got this on lease from Russia. It operated this nuclear submarine INS Chakra, and the most prestigious one is entirely made in India, INS Harihant. It is also a nuclear powered. Don't say when I call a nuclear submarine, don't say that it can launch nuclear bombs. No, it can launch missiles which can have nuclear bombs, but they are basically nuclear propelled. So nuclear energy is used for the propulsion of these ships. That's why we call them as nuclear powered submarines, or sometimes in a slang way, people call it nuclear submarines, and the certain small children will understand it as nuclear submarine means it launches nuclear bombs. Not like that. Not like that. Okay. INS Arihant is the first Indian nuclear submarine, first nuclear submarine built by India. A lot of other submarines are built by India, that's different. But the nuclear submarine built by India is INS Arihant. So then we will come to the most important topic. How can I join the Navy? How can I join the Navy? Before I go into the topic of how you can join the Navy, let's see some kind of a life in the Navy. It is a mix of sea and shore. The system prepares you for the next job. It has got a very pyramidal structure where the bottom is very broad and the top is very narrow. There is no monotony in your job. Every day is a new experience for yourself. Lots of camaraderie and lots of close community is there. And you have a great naval value system inculcated in you. Life on a ship is very good. A ship is a self-sustaining mini city with crew from all parts of the country, from every walk of life. All of them are engaged in a wide range of activities. The most important expectation from every individual in the Navy is his or her professional competence. That's very, very important. And this competence only will help you do justice to your job and which will give you unparalleled professional satisfaction. So this is very, very important. So here you can see this is the bridge of a ship. Here you'll find the captain is sitting in the background on a chair. He is commanding the ship. He is responsible for the whole ship, fighting a war or whatever it is. And you have all the other officers who are standing there and performing their different roles, guiding the ship, navigating the ship, operating different parts of it and things like that. And this is, you can see a captain there sitting in the background there. So imagine a helicopter which is landing on a moving ship. That too when the ship appears just like a small matchbox in the water. When you have flown in a helicopter in the sea, you will find an aircraft carrier looks like a small matchbox. So from 1,000 feet above the mean sea level, he just has to come down and land perfectly on a moving ship. The ship is not stationary. It is not a stationary helipad. Remember that. It's moving there. Just see, a person is moving from one ship to the other ship. Your adrenaline will rush when you are transferred at sea from one ship to another using a temporary ropeway, when both ships are moving at a speed of about 40 kilometers an hour. So this is what we call it, replenishment at sea, RAS we call it. These kind of things, even when material are transferred from one ship to the other ship in this manner. Then sometimes you have sea boats. The boats have to be launched down where some personnel have to go into the boat and do certain operations. So launching a sea boat is a daily operation in the sea. Then can we emphasize the importance of firefighting? Water and fire are two dangers that we look out constantly. The water can flood into the compartments and the ship can sink if water gets into a compartment. So it has to be plugged immediately. The hole has to be plugged. Then the fire, which sometimes do happen on board a ship, the firefighting has to be done. So every personnel in the Navy has to have some kind of a knowledge of firefighting. So the fire extinguishers, how do you operate and use the fire extinguishers? You cannot always expect, just like everyone should have a first aid, how to do a first aid. You should not expect a medical specialist or anything happens. You should be able to give a first aid before the specialist or doctor arrives. So if you see a fire anywhere, immediately fire, you shout, the experts, fire extinguishing experts will come. But before they come, you need to immediately take the fire extinguisher and you should know how to operate them. So all personnel are trained in this particular thing for every day on board ships and submarines. They are very, very important. Though the Navy doesn't, we also carry out some small arm firing. You will be surprised that I have handled all kinds of small arms. be it a pistol, be it a SLR, self-loading rifle, 303 rifle, 7.62 SLR rifle, 7.62 light machine gun, Sten gun, and I even have handled AK-47 and AK-56 rifles in a commando training establishment. I had the opportunity to use that and fire and have a look at how does it feel to fire with an AK-47 and AK-56 rifles. So all these small arms are also training is also given to all personnel. Everyone gets to fire with the pistols and things like that. So we carry out these kind of exercises in the sea every day. You must be in the peacetime. You must be wondering what the peacetime and there is no war. What these guys are doing? We constantly keep doing all these kinds of exercises at sea. So we do the small arms firing. So sports and adventure is an integral part of defense services. Very, very important. We play cricket at sea. We play volleyball at sea. We play basketball at sea. We play kabaddi at sea. Everything we do. So basically, everything is being done there. We play everything in the sea. There is always a lot of work, lot of sweat. We do dramatics. We give programs. There are lots of singers, dancers. Everyone is there. We have a campfire. We lots of talent do come out, and lots of entertainment is there. So you work hard. At the end of the day, there is a lot of sweat and toil at sea, but we take a lot of pride in it, and we have plenty of smiles in everyone's face at sea. I just see on the flight deck of INS Vikramaditya, I think this one. See how many fighter aircraft is parked there on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier. Life in aviation. If you join Naval Aviation, plenty of opportunity to either become a pilot, you have a physically flies an aircraft, or an observer. There is another branch of people, specialized people known as observers on board aircraft. Observers are not pilots. They're not co-pilots, but they have got different role. They fight the war. There are a lot of equipment, radar, a lot of gunnery, a lot of weapons. They can launch missiles, torpedoes. They can hunt for submarines. They can detect submarines. These roles also have to be played. But those specialist people are also supposed to be there in the aircraft. So they are called the observers. We have the observers in the aircraft. In addition to the pilot and the co-pilot we have. So Naval Aviation offers you two different things. You can join as a pilot. You can join as an observer. The Navy's term for airborne tacticians, we call it an observer, is an airborne tactician who fly on board an aircraft and fight the enemy, but he's not a pilot. Okay. And this is how we got a pilot. You have the wings here. In the picture on the top right corner, you have a wing. When you become a pilot, when you become a qualified pilot, you get these wings and you wear these wings on your chest. When you wear the wing on your chest, that means you are a qualified and a certified pilot. And when you have another wing, another kind of wing, you see, that kind of wing is something which is worn by an observer. Please see that even the naval, even the ladies or even the girls can join as pilots and observers in the Navy, about which I'll come to it a bit later. This is life in a submarine. Imagine working and living in a tube which is just 75 meters long and 10 meters wide and as high as a 3-storied building and with no windows, surrounded by the most complex technology, surrounded by, you lock the doors, surrounded by water. You are submerged beneath the surface of the ocean and travel silently underwater for months. This requires tremendous amount of skill, knowledge, discipline, teamwork. Everything will be required. That's what makes life as a submariner highly challenging and immensely satisfying. Mind that the submariners and the aviators, pilots are given some extra salaries. They call it submarine pay and aviation pay because of the extra kind of risk involved. Their insurance is also, medical insurance, everything is much higher. So that is a submarine and aviation arm is a special arm of the Indian Navy. Okay. If you get a chance, if you know somebody working in a submarine, you should visit a submarine and see how it is inside a submarine. I will strongly advise you, young boys and girls should have a look at it. Otherwise, lots of novels and movies are there. You all have read an Alistair MacLean novel known as Ice Station Zebra. If you have not read it, please read that. If you can probably see the movie, you can go and have a look at the movie. It gives you lots of insight into the naval operations, especially submarine operations. What is life inside a submarine? How to fight a war by being inside the submarine. It gives you lots of information there. Okay. And we have commandos. They are the special forces in the Navy. They're indeed very special. The Indian Navy's marine commandos, they are called the Marcos. We call them Marcos. They form a lethal entity known to get to wear the elite maroon cap. Once you become a qualified Marco, you wear what is known as a maroon cap. It's a commando's cap, a very prestigious one, which is their unique privilege. It takes a lot of grit, determination, staying power, and mental dexterity of the extreme kind to undergo a marine commando training and successfully complete it and become a marine commando. And you get to wear this kind of a maroon cap as a marine commando. You should be a damn good swimmer. You should be a good diver. Anyway, if you are a good swimmer, that is good enough. If you have a good stamina and if you've got a grit and determination, you join and you will be trained as a commando. There are commando training establishments. How many can forget in 2008, the terrorists landed in the Hotel Taj, where these commandos were airdropped from the top by helicopters, Indian Naval or Air Force helicopters, and these commandos apprehended all the terrorists in the Hotel Taj within 24 hours or so. Okay, so these are all the roles the commandos play. That sums up the kind of life which you will have, very adventurous in nature. If you are an enthusiast, sportsman enthusiast, there is no better service than the defense services. I will say defense services, even Army and Air Force. But Navy, if you are it is being recognized. Your sporting talents are very, very highly recognized in the defense services. You can pick up any kind of sports. You can do adventure sports also, like sailing, parasailing, power gliding, windsurfing, kite surfing, rock climbing, hiking, all these things. I have done a lot of them. I have done rock climbing. I have done a lot of hiking in the Himalayas. I have been deputed in many places. I have done some ice trading up in the Himalayas. So I have done lots of sailing in the sailing clubs. I tried my hand a little bit in the windsurfing, but I have not really gone into much of it. But I have done scuba diving. Scuba diving is another thing where you can put, what is a scuba? Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. That's what is the full form of scuba. So where you wear the scuba set and dive under the water, 10 meter, 20 meter depths. I have dived. I was in Andamans. It's a beautiful experience doing a scuba diving in Andamans and in Lakshadweep and these areas. So I have done scuba diving. So all these you can do while you are in the defense services. It is not like any other job. So don't think that Navy, you are applying for a job and joining a job. It's not like a chartered accountant after doing his CA, he is joining a bank or any financial institution, he starts auditing and it's cracking on the accounts, receipts, vouchers, payments, receipts, all this stuff. That's a dull, boring, I should not degrade any kind of a job, but a job in the defense services is a way of life. It is not like any other job. Every day the experience is new for you. You get to do so many things there. You get to do so many things there. See the kind of variety of things people do. You do small boat sailing. You do circumnavigation around the globe. You see there are two persons who are doing the sailing, enterprise boat sailing there at the sailing club in Mumbai. You got a sailing club in Kochi. You get to play golf. All these things you can do. Of course, naval parade is part and parcel of any defense services. So how do I apply? That is a question which will be coming, which will take a long, I don't want to go very lengthy and it will be a bit boring for you, even though I prepared some slides for you on this core, but I don't want to go into much of a detail on this because every entry has got an application, has got an entrance examination. You have to go through a service selection board. You have to go through a medical test, a fitness test and things like that. And then the merit list is prepared and you join the defense forces. All the advertisements come through the employment news and leading newspapers of the country. You will see an advertisement, something like this: join the Navy and see the world, a glorious career, come and join the Navy. And this kind of banner will be there. And the advertisements do come and respond to these advertisements. Or if you want to know the detail, see in the bottom, there is something written as www.joinindiannavy.gov.in. This is the website which will give you all kinds of information. If you go through them thoroughly, where girls can join, where men can join, boys can join, in what classes, after what qualifications you can join, how do you join, what are the entrance examinations, when will the advertisement come, all the details you will find in this particular website. This is an official website. Don't go through the other. If you Google, you will also see so many sites which are there, formed by the private agencies. Okay. You have got two kinds of entry into the Navy. Permanent commission. Permanent commission means you are permanently giving a bond where you serve for the full term. And then you have got a short service commission. You serve only for 10 years to 14 years and you can come out of that. That is a short service commission. But there are a lot of privileges as a permanent commission. You join in the permanent commission, you can join into the short service commission. A permanent commission means minimum of 20 years, the maximum can be even more. But I served for 22 years and I took a voluntary retirement and came out. And if you serve for minimum of 20 years, you are privileged to get pension after retirement. Lots of retirement benefits are there. In short service commission, you join only for about 10 to 14 years. Initially, it is 10 years that can be extended. If your profile and performance is good, they can be extended to 14 years. And that has got limited retirement benefits are there. So you can join the Navy through various 2-3 different agencies. One is that NDA, National Defense Academy. You must have heard of it. After your +2, you can join National Defense Academy. That's in the Kadakpasla in Pune. That is established much long back. And that through that, a defense academy, the National Defense Academy, trains you for Navy, Air Force and Army, and you are branched there itself as a Navy cadet. And you are given back into the, after the training, initial training, you join back the Navy or Air Force or Army to the respective fields which you have joined for. For NDA, you have to write a written examination conducted by the UPSC. UPSC, Union Public Service Commission. You should know that. So if you write the UPSC entrance examination, it's especially for the NDA entrance examination is there, that you have to apply when you are completed your 11th grade. If you want to join an NDA after the 12th grade, you need to apply when you are just completed your 11th grade. June or July or whatever time, you need to apply for that. So the examination call letter will come. You write the examination, then there will be some kind of a service selection board selection. And ultimately, when you join, you have completed your 12th. You have completed your 12th grade. So you can join the National Defense Academy there. That written examination followed by SSB is known as Service Selection Board. There is a service selection board all over India. It's there in Bangalore, it's there in Nagpur, it's there in Bhopal. Several places it is there. You will be called for a service selection board interview. You go and give it interview where you will be tested for so many other things. Then other short service commission, there is no written examination. Just directly you are getting selected, you go for the service selection board. So this is the kind of entrance which are there. And every selection is out of pure merit only. I can tell you, nothing works here. So this is the service selection board. And this is where it's in Bangalore, I think. This is where you will go for an interview and select. In the service selection board, they look for your leadership skills, how good a leader you are, what kind of an IQ you have, your practical intelligence, your organizing ability, your teamwork, your power of expression. How do you communicate? How do you talk? How do you gel well as a team? What kind of social adjustments you have got? What are your determination, your courage, your stamina? All these qualities are being tested. They have got certain tests. They call it group tasks are there. You are put in a group and you perform certain tasks as a group. So you should be part of the team. You should be able to lead. You should be able to communicate. You should be able to organize and complete the task as a group. So these skills are being judged there. And if you are smart and if you're intelligent, easily you will get selected there. So the evaluation methodology, the psychological analysis is there. The group task, which I'm telling about, group test is there. Then your interpersonal skills, your leadership tasks, your physical ability. Then you undergo what is known as a medical test, fitness test, and you get selected. This is a broad, I will just scroll through it. Basically, I would like you, I cannot go into very great details about this, but if you scroll through this website, which I have told you, this will give you the various types of entry and who are all eligible. Men can join at the age of 16, that is after their +2, as a cadet in the NDA on the NDA Naval Academy by writing an UPSC exam. At the age of 17, men can join 10+2 BTech cadet entry. One thing I am telling you, lots of doubts young boys and girls used to have. Even I used to find it difficult to explain to everyone. Many of my relatives and friends have asked about this. After the +2, who will join a job? Nobody is interested in joining a job. They are interested in joining a course. They are applying for the engineering. They are applying for IIT. They are writing NEET exam. They are writing the JEE exam. Nobody will take an advertisement from the employment news or the leading newspaper and apply for a job in the Navy. No, the Navy is not a job. The Navy basically gives you an engineering education free of cost. You do not spend a penny for doing a BTech. When you are taken at the age of 17 in the NDA, you are taken for the 10+2 cadet entry of the Indian Naval Academy. INA stands for the Indian Naval Academy. You go through 4 years of training. The 4 years of a course, a BTech course, you will be taught all subjects from physics, chemistry, mathematics, electronics, chemical, laboratory, mechanical engineering, thermodynamics, we say whatever may be your brand, electrical, electronics, electrical engineering, everything is being taught. You write semester examinations, your grades are assessed, you write the examinations, you pass the examinations, your BTech degree is given by Jawaharlal Nehru University, JNU. You get a BTech degree, which is recognized all over the world. So don't think after +2 you are joining NDA and then for your lifetime you are going to be only a +2 qualification. You do not have any other qualification. Sorry, you have misunderstood it. So after the +2, if you are joining for a BTech course in the Navy. The Navy gives you a BTech graduation free of cost. Imagine the other persons who are joining a BTech in any other private engineering colleges, they take out capitation fees, other fees, whatnot, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs. And then when they join the Navy, they have got the mess, they have to join the hostel accommodation fee, the mess fee, and every month your parents have to be remitting about 10,000 rupees, 15,000 rupees to you to sustain yourself in the hostel and the mess and for your education. But when you join a 10+2, you will not be paying a penny for your accommodation, for your dress or for your uniform, for anything more than. Everything is entirely, you are getting a BTech degree absolutely free of cost. It is not just the BTech degree. In my earlier slides, I have mentioned after a couple of years, you will also be going for specialization, MTech to IITs. All these qualifications and experience you are getting free of cost. Imagine that you have to go for a commercial pilot license. So you want to become a pilot, you want to get a commercial pilot license. How much you have to shell from your pocket to get a commercial pilot license to fly? When in the Navy, you join an aviation branch as a pilot, you are completely trained and you become a qualified pilot. How many pilots have retired from the Navy, have joined Indian Airlines, Air India, Indigo, and other airlines? I know my own colleagues, pilots who are there, who are serving, who are there pilots in the SpiceJet. They are some of them are in Air India, some of them are in flying Indigo Airlines and things like that. So you go in as a raw man, as a 10+2 guy, as a student, but you come out as a finished product, completely free of cost. All this training, education, everything is given by the Navy. Only thing is you should have the motivation to do that. So joint entrance examination main score, that's also one of the prerequisite here. You join, you write the IIT JEE exam, you register for the exam, you take up the exam, the JEE will give you a ranking. You should have that particular ranking when you apply for this 10+2 technical course, BTech course. You should have the ranking. With the ranking, you apply. Not that you have to be a top rank. A top ranker will go to IIT. The next top ranked ranker will go to NIT or Indian Space Research Organization, wherever they are being put. But yes, don't get disheartened when your rank is not good enough to go to IIT, but you will still get a chance to go to IIT and do your MTech. You can join the Navy here. Using that particular rank, you apply for the BTech entry, you get a BTech degree, and you ultimately, in some stage or other in your career, you will be going for an MTech course as well in one of the specializations like satellite communication, this and that one. Hey, there are plenty of this thing. Then we have the Combined Defense Services Examination, CDSE, or Naval Specialization. You can join as a pilot. You please go through this very carefully. And if you have got certain doubts, then you also have the Indian Navy entrance test, INET. If you want to join the general service of the executive, hydrography, engineering, electrical cadre, as men can directly by, this is called as a direct entry criteria. Naval Armament Inspection cadre, logistic, Naval Architecture cadre. You want to join as an education branch officer, you only appear for the Indian Navy entrance test, INET, an objective type entrance examination for you. Men, women can also join. It's written where men only can join, where men and women, for example, armament inspection cadre, logistics, naval architecture, all this education branch, women also can join. Musician also. We have the Navy band. We have lots of musicians also in the Navy. In all the three, in all the armed forces you have, even in the paramilitary forces, you have the musician branches there. Anyway, that's apart from that. Then you can join as a law cadre. In the law cadre, you can join. You have the sports quota. If you are represented in any kind of a sports, you for an NCC certificate holder, you have entries through an NCC certificate also. This is the normal time schedule for joining an ND. I'm just giving you brief, but I'm not going much elaborate in it. See, the notification comes in the month of December, January of the previous year. If you want to join NDA or Indian Naval Academy examination, the notification comes in December, Jan of the previous year. If you want to join January of the next year. If you want to, twice in a year, the recruitment takes place. Twice in a year, the admission takes place. If you want to join in the June and July of 2022, June and July of 2021 itself, advertisement comes in, and the October, November, the entrance examination is conducted. The SSB interview in January and February. Then you get a call letter, and then you join in the month of July when you have already completed your +2. So you have to go through all this process when you are in the 12th standard. Once you have completed your 11th. Yes, somebody is raising the hand. Somebody is raising the hand there. Shifa Sheikh. Can you unmute yourself and ask questions? Or I will give you time at the end of the talk, which I'm going to finish shortly. Okay. You have to write the company. So women in the Navy is very, very important. The naval architect, women can join the Navy. That's a special, I'm specially mentioning because girls think that they cannot join the defense forces. Still, the kind of the parenting which we have in India, in some places, especially in rural places, they just don't know their own capability. They don't know that they can join the defense forces and have a very successful career. In the naval architecture, where they design ships, in the law cadre, in the logistics cadre, in the education branch, in the air traffic controller branch, as an observer in an aircraft, it's an aviation branch actually, as an observer, in the naval armament inspection cadre, and as a pilot of a maritime reconnaissance, not as a fighter pilot or not in the helicopter pilots. You can join as a pilot in the maritime reconnaissance aircraft. Dornier and other big aircraft is there. You can join as a pilot. So I have a link here. I don't know, which gives me.
Through my online store alone, we've sold over $500,000 worth of spices. That's so crazy.
I went from selling to my town to selling nationwide.
A 24-year-old young woman from Muzaffarpur, Lieutenant Shivangi, who's now become the Indian Navy's first woman pilot.
Well, it's my pleasure to introduce you to.
Are you listening? Are you getting here?
Congratulations.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
why am I congratulating her? She is the first woman pilot of Indian Navy.
I won't be able to, describe my feelings in words. It was a great experience. My parents were also here, so altogether it was a very special moment for me. I had always wanted these wings here, so finally I've got it, so it's an entirely different feeling.
Well, absolutely a very proud moment. We witnessed her getting the wings today. Before I go on to your training and about all that you had to do during your training, personally, it's quite an achievement for you. You come from a family where there have not been any defense personnel in your family. I spoke to your father, who was very emotional, very overwhelmed, if I can say correctly.
Well, I come from Muzaffarpur, Bihar, which is a small town in Bihar, and I've not seen many people around me who were there. In fact, I've not seen anyone in my family who's there in defense. So for me, when I went to college, I joined something which is not very conventional for a girl to do. I joined mechanical engineering. So that time also I thought that maybe my parents will mind, but they were in fact very supportive. And after my graduation, in my 4th year of graduation, when I saw small video about Navy, which was done by a naval officer, they had come for UES entry, University Entry Scheme. So, that time I decided to join Navy, and I told my parents, okay, I want to join Defense Forces now.
That's about Sub-Lieutenant Shivangi. Right. I will close this. There is some technical issue here. I will close this video. So I will come to where I had left. So this is where I left. So this is how the women can join the Navy. You have heard Sub-Lieutenant Shivangi, a proud Indian naval officer, proud first pilot of the Indian Navy. So the women officers, are you hearing me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So you can join, the girls can join at Naval Architecture, Law, Education. And for more details of how you can join the Navy, just refer to this particular website, www.joinindiannavy.government.in. This is the picture of the Indian Naval Academy. This is the picture of the Indian Naval Academy at Edimala. It's got tremendous infrastructure. There's got beautiful grounds, beautiful parade ground, lots of sports facilities, classrooms, auditoriums, international standard swimming pools, golf courses, you name whatever you have, everything is there in this kind of Naval Academy. It will be very proud for you to enter a Naval Academy.
How the women can be?
Yes. Yes. Tell me. Yes, shoot. Don't hesitate. I can hear you. Okay. Okay, I'll complete that. A 10+2 executive branch goes through 4 years of training in the Naval Academy, in the entry as well as the entry. That's a BTech course which is completely done by them. Then they do the BTech degree. The BTech degree is given by Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi. And a 10+2 technical cadet also enters the Navy Indian Naval Academy and she undergoes 4 years of course. It's a proper BTech course and they get the technical degree from that. And then a direct entry courses basically are also there. They do their BTech from outside, BTech, post-graduation, whatever qualification from outside. And they have a very short training in the Naval Academy that they undergo only for 22 weeks, in about 5 to 5.5 months or so. And then they do the naval orientation course and they are inducted into the Navy directly. So, boys and girls, the Indian Navy offers you a challenging and rewarding career for young, adventurous men and women who seek to don the white uniform and become officers and leaders of men. In fact, the Navy is not just another job or career. It's a way of life, as I have told you before. As a naval officer, you have the unique privilege of being a member of a highly motivated and professional force, acquire higher academic qualifications like MTech, MS, and other things, and assume important responsibilities. Then, this is very, very important. You see the cadets in the Naval Academy doing some yachting, doing some small arms firing, parade drill, some speeches, debates, some kind of games, war games, a beautiful mess, some adventure activities and things like that. And these are all the part of course. This is the Naval Academy passing out parade. Just like your graduation ceremony, you have something known as a passing out parade. The passing out is being done in this fashion. You must have seen this in televisions sometime in your life. And this is the National Defense Academy at Kadakvasala, Pune. You have these training establishments about which I have already told you. This is the various rank structure which is there in the Navy. This is first one is one stripe is sub-lieutenant, lieutenant, lieutenant commander, commander, captain, commodore, rear admiral, vice admiral, and admiral. The equivalent ranks in the Army and Air Force, you can refer it in the various websites. So you join as a commissioned officer, you are a sub-lieutenant. I left the Navy when I was a commander. But now the promotions are very fast and very good, much better than what it was when I was in the Navy. You get to become a captain in the Indian Navy within 24 years of your service. Within 24 years of your service. And it is a time scale, there is no selection. Only above the rank of captain, the promotions are on selection basis. You automatically get promoted until the rank of captain in the Navy now. That's what I get to hear. You have got lots of other privileges. You can join the Navy. You can see the world. When it was advertised, when I joined Navy, I never thought I will see the world. But I have seen practically the entire world after joining the Navy. Our naval ships do visit various ports all over the world. You can see the INS Godavari or destroyer class of ship visiting the New York port. You can see the Statue of Liberty in the background there. So you have our naval ships visiting Sydney, Melbourne, and Sydney in Australia. So various types of visit. Our Indian naval ships visit these countries on goodwill visits, on diplomatic roles constantly. So you get to see, imagine, I have visited countries like Mauritius, Maldives, South Africa, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Japan. All these countries I have visited on diplomatic missions when I was in the Navy, when I was a SIG. Why? I will tell you, I have sailed across the Pacific Ocean. I have sailed across the Indian Ocean. So a lot of other world navies also do come to India on visits, on diplomatic visits. You get to visit these ships. I have visited quite a lot of foreign vessels also during my career. So you get a very handsome salary. I will not elaborate on that. You are a class 1 gazetted officer when you join the Navy. You are a class 1 gazetted officer when you are a commissioned officer, when you join the Navy. And you can imagine what could be the salary. And the plus is very important there. You got a life insurance, you got a pension benefits, you got leave. I'm just quickly scrolling it through for you to see that. You have the Naval Children's School, Naval Public School it was called, and the Navy Children's School. You work in very serene environment. All your naval establishments are in serene environment outside the congested cities. So the image of our naval establishment in Mumbai, the club in Mumbai, the kind of golf course which you see in Mumbai, the jogging areas, the Navy Nagar, Kolaba, which is close to the coast. You get to live in such excellent places. You have golf courses. You got international standard 50-meter swimming pools. You got squash courts, tennis courts. You got sailing clubs where you can learn some windsurfing, sailing, yachting, kite surfing, power gliding, microlight power gliding, paragliding, para jumping, skiing. All these you get to do when you are in the Navy. When you are retired, you are supported throughout your life to your spouses. You have got the insurance, you got the pension when you are retired. If anything happens to a naval officer, his family, wife gets pension till the end. So you got the canteen facilities, you got the club facilities, which you have. This is the club in Mumbai. And the canteen facilities, I don't have subsidy. Everything you get, I'm just scrolling through it very fast because I have already exceeded far more than what I'm allotted. Serving in the Navy is an honor, it's courage, it's a question of commitment. See, one Lieutenant Commander Abhilash Tommy is the Kirti Chakra Gallantry Award winner. He circumnavigated the whole earth solo, alone. And we have got some women officers who have gone in a small sail vessel all around the globe, circumnavigated the globe. That was a big achievement. Only women crew, women officers crew was there. Same way, some officers have gone to the poles, Everest climbing. Why everyone? Look at me. Even I had the opportunity for being part of the Indian scientific expedition to Antarctica in 96-97, where I had the opportunity of sailing all the way to the ice continent and live there for about 4 to 6 months in the company of penguins and do some naval operations and also do some research work on meteorology and oceanography and give operational weather forecasting, which was a very, very challenging for me. Forecasting weather and oceanographic conditions in Antarctica was a real challenge. Professionally satisfying one, and I consider it as a great achievement going to Antarctica in an Antarctica expedition. So you never know. When I saw the advertisement in the Navy, joined the Navy, see the world, I never believed it. But I have practically seen the whole world. At least I can boast of having seen a part of the world. Globe I have seen, including Antarctica. I have visited all the 7 continents in this world. Antarctica is one of them. Navy career is a successful career, a glorious career. It has got tremendous employment potential when retired. You can have a look at me. The specialization, the knowledge which I have gained in the Navy is useful to me till today. Even after I have crossed 60 years of my age, I am still having employment potential. That's what I will see. It's naval service is a service of respect and honor. It's a winner in life. Choice is yours. Thank you. Any questions I can take?
Yes. Thank you
Anybody?
so much, sir. I request Lovelyn ma'am to proceed.
Thank you.
Sure, ma'am. Ma'am, I don't really see any major questions in the chat box.
How do you come out of the sharing? I'm trying to see how I can come out of screen sharing.
Okay,
I'm not used to
Asjad
this.
Khan has raised his hand.
Okay, tell me. Shoot. If I know the answer, I will answer the question. If I don't know the answer, I will come back to you later. And probably I can show you where you can go.
His question is posted in the chat box. The question says, sir, can MBBS doctor go in Navy?
Yes, very much. You can join the Navy as an MBBS doctor into the medical branch. The medical branch is considered as a combined services branch. Even though you join the Navy, you also get posted to the military, army hospitals, also Air Force hospitals also. And some Air Force people also get posted into the Army and the Navy also. See, it's all inter-services. It is an inter-services branch. So after doing MBBS, you can join. There's another way of becoming a medical branch is there's an Armed Forces Medical College in Pune. So you can write the entrance examination for the Armed Forces Medical College entrance examination. So after doing MBBS from outside, you will be doing house surgency. You will be wasting 1 year time, 1 year like that. And then probably you will have to find a way how to enter. You are wasting the time. That's why Navy, Air Force, all now started their own in-house training. Actually, the whole thing has started in that way. That's how you got the 10+2 BTech courses there in Navy. You do 4 years of BTech, you come out of it, you apply for the direct entry, you are wasting another year or so there. Why? Then 1.5 years of training has to be done on naval specializations and things like that before you really get inducted into the Navy as a proper Navy specialist. It takes a little bit of time. So they thought, why take directly the 10+2 candidates? After that +2, let's give them a BTech degree, give them all kinds of specialization. So, and the naval orientation. So that's become a very popular thing now. And think in terms of after +2, straight away joining Armed Forces Medical College. If you cannot, you do your MBBS and complete your medicine and then join as doctors in the Navy. It's possible.
The next question is, if a ship contains 46 guns, how many magazines the gun needs?
Good question. Anyway, you should have asked what your discipline as a gunnery and weapons or armament inspectorate specialist there. The magazine is depending upon the small arm gun. You're talking about small arm gun or the big gun. There are big guns which are there, where there are magazines which are there at the bottom of a ship. Normally in a ship, the magazines are in the bottommost deck of the ship. I have not even gone inside. I have served over 3 years on board INS Vikrant. INS Vikrant is like a city. In my lifetime, in my 3 years, I never even got an opportunity to go to that bottommost deck and see what is the magazine. Basically, what is happening is I need to get permission. Magazine is a very, very, very dicey place, right? Anything, ammunition can explode and things like that. So one has to be quite careful, one has to take, and there is no need for me to go there and see the magazines and all there, where what kind of ammunition, shells. So the big guns which are there in front of the ship have got big shells. The small guns which you use in your hand, we call them small arms. They got a small magazine which you can load them and then fire that. So you have got enormous number of magazines. Every one of us finish off hundreds of rounds of magazines in our normal daily practice itself, every year practice itself. So that's a logistic. That's a logistic branch. People will think about it, worry about it, how much of magazines are required per year, supply has to be done. So that's why logistics branch is for. Okay.
Thank you. So the next question says, how will we get to know if anyone attacks our ship?
Oh my God. It's a very high technology. You got satellites, you got the GPS, you got all kinds of stuff. You got radars, you got sonars. Any ship coming within any range of a radar will be detected. And that's what is the executive branch people are meant for. So you can identify which aircraft. A radar echo comes from the echo. That's what is the specialization. That's what is being taught in the training. How will you identify an enemy ship? Whether it is an enemy ship or it is your own ship, how will you identify? There are certain signatures. Each ship has got some signatures. Characteristics are there. Their echo, their reflection is coming in a different fashion. Their frequencies are different, of their engines are different. All these things are put together and found out by specialists who detect a submarine, and also some intelligence information there that in this particular location an enemy submarine is hovering around. So an enemy ship is hovering around. So all these intelligence inputs, everything is put together, found out to find out, yes, that is an enemy target, and fire. Let's fire a torpedo towards the target before a proper decision is being taken. That's what specialists are meant for.
Thank you, sir. I don't really see any more questions in the chat box. Okay,
no, don't worry.
I just received one more question. Sorry for the interruption. It says, what for you in Navy means a wing commander or anything else?
A wing commander is a rank of the Air Force. A commander is a rank of the Navy. And a lieutenant colonel, equivalent rank in the Army is lieutenant colonel. Right? Each defense force has got a different rank structure. But there are some equivalent ranks are there. A commander is called a lieutenant colonel in Army, and a wing commander in the Air Force.
Okay, sir. I think there are no more questions. What did you become in Navy is one more question.
What did you
become in Navy?
I was a commander. After 22 years of service, I left the Navy on voluntary retirement. So I became a commander. Maybe a few years, I would have served more, I would have become a captain. Captain in the Navy is a very, very senior rank. You have heard of captain of a ship. Captain of a ship means he commands the entire ship. A captain in the Navy is a very, very high rank. It's equal to a colonel in the Army, whereas a captain in the Army is a very, very junior rank. You should not get confused there. A captain in the Army is just a lieutenant in the Navy. Right? So you go and Google and have a look at the rank structures and the equivalents, you will get everything very clearly.
The next question is, after B pharmacy, can we go in Navy?
No, there is no pharmaceutical branch in the Navy. Defense services.
And the next question is, sir, did you fight with any country?
Unfortunately, I joined the Navy in 1983. We had a Maldives operation there in the Navy, where there was a coup in Maldives. Indian Navy extended its support for the Maldives operations there. And then we had the IPKF operations in the Sri Lanka, where the Indian naval forces were sent to Sri Lanka to fight the IPKF there in Sri Lanka. Only these two major operations took place during my tenure, and I took part in neither of them.
I don't see any more questions coming up. Rutuja ma'am.
So thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insights and cogent message. Now I request Jigna madam to propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, Jigna madam. Yeah.
Thank you, Rutuja ma'am. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Ms. Jigna Haria, feel greatly honored to get an opportunity to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of the entire fraternity of the Cambria International School. Let me start with first giving glory to Almighty God for blessings to make this event a very grand success and allocate our nation with such real bravery heroes. We humbly honor the sacrifice from the long days and the late nights of each and every day of deployment, for the hot and the cold, for the tiring and the hard days, for the tasteless food and crowded bunks, endless flights, for running into battle with courage when it is very easy and very much easier to be, for having the strength to pull yourself above from your family and being selfless, for always doing whatever it takes to fulfill the duty, to honor the commitment, to uphold the oath towards nation with bravery. There aren't words to express the depth of our gratitude, whether it's me as an individual or citizen, or we as a school, society, and nation. Thank you word is very less, but still I would like to give heartfelt thanks to our leading hero, our venerable speaker, Mr. Commander S. Chandrasekaran, who had galvanized the entire event with his gracious presence and as a beacon light inspired our little Cambrians about maritime heritage, history, role of the Navy, purpose, values, and skills like discipline, leadership, resilience, and many much more. You have given up so much for this country, sir. I personally and we as a school believe that it is something that cannot be repaid. Thank you so much for your gracious presence today. Further, on behalf of the Cambria International School, I extend my most sincere thanks to our Honorable CMD, Mr. Bipin Pote, sir, who is the anchor of the ship, our organization, and motivation for all of us. He also provides us with unique opportunities and platforms where we can meet such great personalities. We are thankful to our respected Managing Trustee, Mrs. Meenal Pote ma'am, who is linchpin of our TCIS at the Cambria International School and has always been supportive throughout the year. Special thanks to our Vice President of Business Development and Trustee, Mr. Bhushan Pote, sir. Next, I would like to thank our respected principal, Mrs. Hina Falke ma'am, for the valuable and cogent message every time she gives. Thank you, ma'am, so much. Special thanks to our pre-primary head, Mrs. Sabita ma'am, primary head, Mrs. Krishnaveni ma'am, our head coordinator, Mrs. Lata ma'am, primary coordinator, Mrs. Ratna ma'am, and our IT and sports head, Mrs. Amol Shinde, sir. Marketing team as well as admin team and all our teachers for their support and coordination. With these warm words and many valuable inputs and valuable knowledge, information, we move to the end of today's session. May God bless our nation and always His holy angels surround Indian forces and us to keep everyone safe. May India stand strong and bright as symbol of freedom for all time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining all the students and parents. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to the young children here. I'll be happy if some of them join the Navy. I feel that my talk has borne some fruit at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was really a fruitful session. A lot of things we teachers also got to know along with the children. Thank you, sir, so much.
Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, sir. Bye, sir. Bye, ma'am. Bye, sir. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye, sir. Bye, ma'am. Have a nice day. Bye, ma'am. Bye, sir. Bye, ma'am.
Bye-bye, students.